Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 3 4 key game picks of this 2020 NFL season. Before we talk about week number 3, you know, as you know, talking about week number 2 is a whole different segment unto itself because it was a wild and crazy week number 2. Well, obviously the big story that came from week number 2 was the injury bug. A lot of NFL players got hurt. A lot of them were key starters, and the team that suffered the worst of it was the 49ers in the game last week against the Jets. Now, luckily, the 49ers were playing a sorry Jet team that was going nowhere. But just by that big rout against the Jets, I mean, they lost possibly one of the greatest. They possibly lost their best defender in that defense, basically the heart and soul of that defense, Nick Bosa. He's out for the season, and that definitely hurt. Also, Garoppolo did get hurt in that game, but luckily he will be back, but it's going to be a while because he had a high ankle sprain. I don't know if he'll be ready for week 3. But really, the 49ers suffered the worst of the injury bug, and obviously their schedule favors some victories, but down the line, as soon as they get into the division and the tougher games, I could see the 49ers easily out of contention. I don't think the 49ers will go anywhere now that they have so many injuries on that team. It's a mess for that team, and it couldn't have come at a worse time for the defending NFC champions. And talking about another player that had an ACL tear, Saquon Barkley of the Giants, he's done for the year as well. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, to see all these great players, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that the players did not have a preseason. This is just my opinion. I think, to me, not having a preseason, well, obviously for reasons because of the pandemic, it was tough for NFL teams to really had to go forward with what they got and if the players were ready to play. As much as, as a football fan, I mean, I'm not too fond of the preseason myself because because these games are meaningless and all that. But I can understand from a player's point of view is that it's important for the players because it's conditioning for them. It's getting the plays that they had to learn during training camp and all that. I think to me, it's just that not having the training camp really hurt a lot of NFL teams. And look what happened. NFL injuries to a lot of star players, and obviously it puts some teams out of contention now. The 49ers, I think, pretty much are out of contention for good this season. Otherwise, good. I looked at a lot of games that were wild, and obviously the one that I don't even know why I want to talk about this, but you know where I'm going with. Falcons, Cowboys. Atlanta Falcons. I ain't gonna beat around the bush here. You choked. Falcons choked, plain and simple. You had a lead going into the fourth quarter. Basically a game that you should have won, and you let the Cowboys come back, and obviously the onside kick. Oh, that was just, I don't even know what kind of adjectives I could describe for that, but Cowboys ended up winning on a last second field goal, and that to me was just, that is just, I'm sorry, Falcon fan. If you're a Falcon fan, I could tell the amount of torture you guys had to go through, basically, especially with the fact that you choked in the Super Bowl, and now this game against the Cowboys, it's just, I feel for Falcon fans right now. How about that last minute goal? How about that last second goal stance between that Patriots Seahawks game? A great football game in the end. That last play. Look, it was the right play for the Patriots. Don't criticize it. Don't criticize the Patriots and Bill Belichick's play calling and all. I think to me, Cam Newton's ability to get it into the goal line by himself and all, it was the right call. But at the same time, the Seahawks knew it. They were ready for it. And despite that the Seahawks were stretched thin on their defense because they had some injuries as well, they were ready for it. And give the Seahawks credit on that one. So yeah, I mean, give them a ton of credit. Raiders opening up their home game against the Saints. It was kind of a shocker. The Saints, despite that offense, yet their defense, I had a feeling. Their defense is really an anomaly. One week they're good, and another week they're playing mediocre. And that defense better be ready against the Packers because the Packers and they're already in the first two games annihilated the Vikings and destroyed the Lions, and really puts it really just down the line for the Packers team. Could they be the team to beat in the NFC? I really don't know. We'll wait and see. I mean, it's only 2 games. I can't declare the Packers the NFC champs yet. Their toughest opponents are coming down the line very soon. But I just think, to me, the Packers are still, they're looking scary right now. And I know it's only 2 games, but they look scary. Anyways, let's talk about week number 3. Key game number 1, it is the Raiders versus the Patriots. The Patriots are a 6-point favorite in this one. And the way the Raiders played last week against the Saints and all that, I wouldn't be surprised if the lines for this game go a little bit lower. Maybe 5.5, maybe 5. Derek Carr with the Raiders last week against the Saints, 28 of 38, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Cam Newton, 30 of 44, 397 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception for the Patriots. Raiders key for this game is definitely their running game. Jacobs ran the ball very effectively and really did a number on the Saints defense. The Patriots, I think, to me, with their defense is a little bit better, but their stopping the run, I think, is going to have to be more the key now if the Raiders can run on that Patriot defense. I think this game will be very close. Don't be surprised if this will come down to maybe a field goal. The way the Raiders played, if they can keep up with the Patriots offense, I think, to me, this game could be a shootout here. It might be maybe like a 30-27 type of game or something like that. But I look at it from a standpoint here, the Raiders haven't won a game against the Patriots since 2002. That was the last time that the Raiders beat the Patriots. And since then, the Raiders haven't beaten the Patriots since that time frame. I look at it this way. Patriots offense is a tad better than the Raiders. Raiders do have a running game. This game will be close, but I like the Patriots in this one. I think the Patriots will beat the Raiders, but it'll probably be on a last-second field goal. I think this game will be good. It may be one of the games of the weekend here. We'll wait and see, but I like the Patriots in this one here. I think Cam Newton and the offense will be more prepared to face the Raiders, but expect this game to be close. Patriots over the Raiders. Key game number 2, Rams versus the Bills. Bills are actually a slight favorite in this one at 1.5. And the way the Rams played against the Eagles, this might be another good, we could be looking at another good game here this weekend. Goff went 20 of 27, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Josh Allen for the Bills, 24 of 35, 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Now the Bills last week against the Dolphins, the Bills defense, so it was, for me, was a surprise that the Dolphins almost came back. I'm starting to wonder, look, the Bills defense last year was so good, but they couldn't beat the Patriots though. But for some reason in these first 2 games, the Bills defense seems to have basically, slipped a bit. And what I'm trying to say is this Bills defense is not the same defense as it was last year. I thought the Bills are 2-0 right now. They're currently ahead in the AFC East for the time being. But I don't know. Their defense kind of is not as they're not as dominant as they were last year. And the way the Rams have played their first 2 games, being physical with the Cowboys and the Eagles, the Bills better be ready. They better be ready for this physical Rams team. The Rams are more aggressive than they were last season, and they're almost like the team that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, but that's to be seen if they can make it this year. I don't know. But I look at it from a standpoint here. The Bills and Rams, I think this could be a game that could also be a shootout. I think this game will be a close one as well. But the thing to me that I'm actually going to go with, I'm going to actually pick the Rams here. The Rams are being physical, and if they stay physical with the Bills and all, I like the Rams to edge out the Bills in this game. This Ram team is really getting their group back as they once were in their Super Bowl run. The Rams are an underdog in this game, plus 1.5, and I'm actually going to stick with that. I think the Rams, if they're physical with the Bills, I like them in this game, But this is a tough one to pick here. Don't be surprised if the Bills do win this game as well. This is going to be a close game. One of the tough games to pick here, and it should be a good one here. But I'll pick the Rams here. I think the Rams will be more. They are a very physical team, and I really think they will edge out a victory against the Bills here. Rams over the Bills. Key game number 3, the Sunday night game, Packers versus the Saints. Saints are actually a 3-point favorite in this one, and that number should be much lower. And who's to say if the line's going into Sunday, that could turn around and say that the Packers might be favored in this one. Aaron Rodgers against the Lions last week, 18 of 30, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Drew Brees against the Raiders last week, 26 of 38, 312 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. When I talk about home field advantage, and normally there's hardly any home field advantage because of the pandemic, that a lot of fans are not be able to attend football games here. The game in New Orleans, look, the Saints have had a good home record over the years, but obviously in the last few years their home record hasn't mean squat. But the Saints' problems obviously is on their defense, and they got a bigger problem with Jones of the Packers. Jones is just on fire when it comes to the run game. And seeing what the Saints had to deal with Jacobs and the Raiders and all, this poses problems now with the Packers coming in this Sunday. The Saints defense has got to find a way to stop the run here. And obviously Jones is easing pressure off of Aaron Rodgers here. That is really helping him out in terms of the pass game. And the fact that the Saints defense here basically slowed down. I mean, obviously for the Saints, not having Thomas last week against the Raiders really did hurt them. It really hurt them offensively. But this is a game I can see being a shootout here as well. This is definitely going to be a good game here. But obviously the run is a problem for the Saints defense here. That's why I like the Packers in this one here. I think Jones is going to run over that Saint defense here. If the Saints can't figure out how to stop the run here, they're having issues stopping that. I see the Packers winning this game thanks to Jones. I mean, I really think he's going to pose a problem for that Saint defense here, and that's why I'm picking the Packers in this one here, plus 3 here, and I'm sticking with that. I think the Packers running game with Jones is going to be too much for the Saints to handle. The Saints have to better figure out a way to stop the run, or otherwise the Packers are just going to roll over them. But I think this will be a good game. This might be a back and forth game, but I'm picking the Packers because of the run game. Packers over the Saints. And finally, key game number 4, and I think a lot of us have been waiting for this one here, the Monday night game, Chiefs versus the Ravens. Ravens are a slight favorite in this one at -3. I really think it'll probably go down to -2 probably by the time this game kicks off. Mahomes last week against the Chargers, 27 of 47, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Lamar Jackson against the Texans last week, 18 of 24, 204 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. This is another game I can see being a shootout. Both Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, mobile quarterbacks, they could basically score points by themselves. I think the key here is which defense is going to stop Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. This is definitely I could see this being a good game here. It's going to go back and forth. I think, to me, both offenses can easily score points on each other. But the way the Chiefs defense played the way the Chiefs offensive line struggled to protect Mahomes against the Chargers in a game that was surprising. If the Ravens defensive front line can get to Mahomes here, I think, to me, I look at it as I see the Ravens winning this game. I'm picking the Ravens here. I think, to me, if the Chiefs offensive line has trouble protecting Mahomes, I think the Ravens will win this game here. I think, to me, it'll be a back and forth game. I think it's going to be a good game here. The Chiefs will be more ready for this one here. It'll be a back and forth affair, but I think the Ravens edge out a victory in this one here. I like the Ravens in this game to stop the Chiefs here, to give them their first loss of the season. Ravens over the Chiefs. All right, everybody, that wraps up my picks, my 4 key game picks for week number 3. For all my week 3 picks, please check the description And I will talk to you guys next week when I talk about my 4 key game picks for week number 4. And until then, take care and enjoy your football weekend.